I want to make sure that you understand calls to action. I was in a group the other day. Somebody had asked in there, you know, I'm doing these posts, but do I do a call to action? And the leader, in this group was telling them, oh, if your marketing's good enough, you never use a call to action, huh? And I was like, are you kidding? Because calls to action are everywhere. There is nowhere that you are not going to use a call to action. Marketing is action. Without the call to action, there is no marketing, there is no sale, there is no nothing. In fact, this leader that was saying, oh, if your marketing is good enough, you don't use calls to action, was every other post is come watch my Facebook video, come sign up for my training course, DM me. You guys, all of those things are calls to action. So I want to make sure you understand what a call to action is. Now, I do not use calls to action on every single post. That would get a little bit redundant, but I use calls to action all the time. I just mentioned some. Direct message me. Hey, comment yes below if you want this lead gen, whatever your lead gen thing is. Come watch the podcast video. Tell me your thoughts. Join me for the webinar. Join me on the next class. There are so many ways to use calls to action. It's merely a call to action is just telling the person what step they should take next. What do you want them to do next? And as you figure that out, what's going to help that person make a buying decision? And lots of times you're not going to know. And that's why I actually have several lead gen products, is that I don't know what my person's struggling with. They might not all need my post ideas, right? Some of them might want my video ideas. Some of them might want my webinar where I go a little bit deeper into stuff, right? So as I can create these different products, I can create these different lead gen things, I'm going to get different people identifying themselves. I'm going to get different people qualifying myself. And not all of them are buying things. A lot of my stuff is free stuff, but it's all stuff that's going to get somebody to take the next action. Confused people don't do anything. Confused buyers don't buy anything. So what you're doing is you're trying to create that least amount of friction. You're trying to make it as easy as possible for that person to know what to do next. If you maybe got like an energy drink or a supplement, here's some other tips that are also going to, help you recognize when the supplement's working. These are maybe, the frequently asked questions, here you go. Here's some other things that you could do to also improve your energy and your quality of life or whatever it is, right? And that's up to you to decide. But start thinking through what are the things, what are the problems that person's going to encounter. Now, you can actually offer those as the free lead gen, right? Hey, your call to actions. Hey, have any of you guys ever wondered where to measure yourself when you're trying to figure out if you're losing weight? Come pick up this PDF, come pick up this free training, whatever. Have you ever wondered what it's like to start a business? Come watch this podcast this week. Come listen to this podcast if you don't watch a podcast. But you know what I'm saying? So as you can do these things, they're all calls to action, and they're going to now know what to do next, right? This is what you do next. So if you're not using calls to action, you're not closing sales. Calls to action are sometimes buy my product, join my team, come with me to the training. Those are all calls to action. So I wanted to clarify that absolutely you use calls to action. Calls to action are going to change based on what you're offering, but you definitely have calls to action. Now, granted, I don't make every single one of my posts a call to action. I do about every 6, which is about the same as when I offer something. But make sure you use calls to action, because if not, you are not going to be making sales. It's like those big infomercials. Have you ever watched the late night infomercials where they talk about, it slices, it dices, it makes julienne fries? Well, at the end, if they didn't tell you how to purchase it, they didn't tell you how to buy it, they wouldn't sell anything. And you guys use calls to action all the time. When you convince yourself to wake up in the morning instead of hit the snooze button, you tell yourself, get up now. That's a call to action. When you tell your kids to grab the jacket before they run out the door to school, that's a call to action. When you tell your kids that their room better be cleaned or else, that's a call to action. When you ask your husband if he wants to go out for dinner or to watch a movie, that's a call to action. We seriously use calls to action all the time, all day long, but we don't recognize it as a call to action. But they're all calls to action. Calls to action, again, are not always go buy this, go purchase this. Sometimes it's just, here's the next step. This is what you do next. Those are all calls to action.